We are back. Still on that story, but let's look at the financial position of the Central Bank of Kenya, because it's still the same story. I'm going to remind you on exactly where they are in terms of total liabilities. That is according to financial year 2020-2021. And you can see exactly where they stand in terms of total assets. Quite a close margin as well. But this is the story. Now, once again, the Auditor General has called out the Central Bank of Kenya over its legal breach because of operating with 7 instead of 11 directors and the absence of a second deputy governor. Now, the AG, Ms. Gathungu, in the latest CBK audit report for the year ended June 30th, 2021, indicated that the bank is still operating with 4 non-executive directors, despite the law being clear on the president's obligation to appoint 8 of the board members. This now becomes the second time that the CBK is being faulted for the quorum breach, with the same concern reflected in this year's notes, appearing again in a 2020 year-end audit, without indicating that there still remains gaps in the management of the Apex Bank, including a lack of a second deputy governor as set out in the law. Now, the board maintains full control over strategic, financial and operational issues of the CBK, but is not involved in the conduct of the day-to-day business, as this is the responsibility given to the governor. Tommy Randall, should we question that? Or, the CBK is just fine, man?
This is one of the benefits of being the president of Kenya, being able to appoint people to all these boards that are there. But recently, the law requires a transparent and competitive manner, and a lot of people in recent boards, their appointments were revoked.
Yes.
But since they've been this way for 2 years, they might have not been affected, or some people might have been in the pipeline to be able to fill those empty positions.
Yes.
But also, when I look at the law, it says during their meetings, a quorum of any meeting of the board shall be the chairperson, the governor, and 3 directors, and they meet that threshold. So, as much as we don't like it this way, I don't see the illegality in it from a policy perspective.
Yes, Tommy, hold on. Ms. Gathungu is quite direct. Let me just go back to that quote. She says that despite the law being very clear that they need to meet that quorum, in fact, she goes on to say that the president is supposed to appoint 8 of those directors. She's simply saying, why are you not sticking to the law? Whether you like it or not, Tommy Rendo, somebody at the CBK is breaking that law. It's quite clear. This is an audit. Let's do it. You're supposed to have 11. You only have 7.
Simba, you, I, or the Auditor General cannot compel the president to act. The most recent ruling where I've seen him being compelled to act was where he was forced to appoint the six judges that he had refused initially to appoint.
Yes.
So, and like I said, I read you the law as I see it here.
Yes.
The quorum is met by just a few people, and it's not being fully constituted does not make the activity null or void.
Is that not the interpretation of the law, Tommy Rendo, as opposed to the law itself?
Look, a quorum of any meeting of the board shall be the chairperson, the governor, and 3 directors.
Which becomes an interpretation of the law, Tommy Rendo.
They've met that criteria. Now the rest, I think it's because people are stuck in the pipeline with the appointments, and anybody who's appointed has to be approved by parliament as well.
Yes.
And like I said, there's a legal challenge because of transparency and competitive appointment of these people, as opposed to it being a reward position for campaigning for him or knowing him from a different perspective.
Fantastic. All right, Arnold, should we ask why we don't have 11 and a second deputy governor?
I actually concur with Tommy Randall. I think minimum threshold as far as the quorum is concerned has been met.
Arnold, hold on. The question is, what does the law state? Have 11 and a second deputy governor. You want to tell me that there are Kenyans who don't want those jobs?
Definitely, but I think with such appointments, as Tommy has mentioned,
yes,
competitive appraisal and maybe interviews Parliamentary sessions need to be done.
Arnold, hold on. I like where you're heading, but this competitiveness and the rigorous process of getting these people on board, you can't tell me that we failed to achieve that for 2 years. It's just somebody saying, no, I will not do it.
Trust me, I am certain that there's a probability that even maybe requests have reached the president's desk. However, I think with the complicated aspect of appointments, I think that's what we'll be holding. I think it's something which may have actually been shelved. You can never know about it.
I don't know.
You see, at times,
Arnold, hold on. I like what you're saying. The complicated nature of appointments. Was it hard for us to reappoint Dr. Patrick Njoroge for the second term? It didn't look like it was very hard, was it, Arnold?
I think his position is a crucial position. It's an obvious position. But I think with the board members, I think the thinking is, if this institution has been working well, what's the rush? I think that's probably one of those offline discussions that is taking center stage. My opinion.
Rufus, wow. Arnold and Tommy Rendo are saying, well, I mean, they need a quorum, so why not? But the law is quite clear. It's black and white. Have 11, and the president should appoint 8 of those and have a second deputy governor. Wait a minute. Rufus, so the law has clearly seen why we need them. So why we not appointing them, and for the second time running, the Auditor General asking them questions, why are you in breach of the law?
I actually agree with Tommy and Arnold. The smaller the group, the better. You see, when it comes to the committee, it's about making decisions.
Yes.
So when it comes to making a decision, if they have to take a vote for, let's say, changing interest rates,
yes,
the smaller the group, the better.
Yes.
So when it comes to making decisions about this economy, and I'm talking about jobs, supporting jobs, stimulus package, the smaller the group, the better. So if there's no need to appoint the extra judges, extra members.
Rufus, I'm sorry to cut you short. So are you proposing then we should change that law? Because if you're saying, well, there's a quorum every time for 2 years, then why can't we change the law then, Rufus? Is that what you're saying? We don't need a second deputy governor, has never been needed. We don't need the other 4. They have never been needed. In fact, let's continue working with non-executive members. The president doesn't need to appoint more. Do we need to change that law?
So it's all about practicality.
Yes.
So if it's working, then I don't believe there's a need to change it.
Woo! Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. But she's asking questions, and again, we do expect that she's gonna continue asking questions because she was quite clear that the law has not provided for a leeway for us not to have these appointments. That's according to Auditor General Nancy Gathunga. At this point, let me say thank you very much to you, Tommy Rendo, Rufus, and Arnold, for taking your time this morning to join us here on our Business AM. You gentlemen have been quite invaluable. Tag them online all the way to the time they joined us into the studio at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. Hashtag is Business AM. Let's continue our conversation. What next for the credit environment in the country after the president effectively freezed listing for the next 1 year? Good morning. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kirk.